Hey guys, I'm out here in my 2013 Tacoma. I've been meaning to make a video to show off the Icon suspension and wheels that I got for an upgrade. I had the stock suspension before this and just needed something because it was kind of blown, and figured to do this setup. And so what I did was the stage 3 with the billet upper control arms and some wheels, and then 33-inch tires. And I did the reservoirs on the back, no reservoirs on the front, and then add a leaf kit. And yeah, it's pretty sweet. So I'm out here in Warner Valley, just gonna make a quick video kind of talking about some of the stuff. And what else we've done to the truck is I've got this tent on the back right here. We made some rails at the shop to mount the tent, and those are pretty sweet. Those are super solid. It's been now about 2 months since I've had the suspension on. I'd say somewhere close to 2 months. And so I've done quite a few different trails with it. I've went to Capitol Reef, did Cathedral Loop, which is like a 60-mile loop off-road. And it's nothing too insane, no crazy features, just a lot of kind of fast pace wheeling through the dirt, and that was super fun. It held up great. All right. Pretty fancy. So all this, just to show how cool it is, we'll throw the drone up, have it follow, see if we can make that work. But super, super cool. The truck doing good. And then after that, I went out to Colorado to Ouray, and I did Black Bear Pass, I did Engineer Pass, and then I can't think of the name of the pass. Oh, Cinnamon Pass. So basically from Ouray to Silverton, and then Silverton you go through Cinnamon Pass, up kind of some mining little towns, through to Lake City. And then from Lake City you take Engineer Pass back to Ouray. And those are both quite insane trails. Just the views up there is just crazy. The Engineer Pass was quite a bit for the truck, a lot of really big drop downs around corners where like a independent front suspension truck is not really made for. And so when I'm following Jeeps, it's like I'm sitting there dropping down these, and it was doing good. I didn't scrape at all in those trails, but it's just not quite made for that. But it held up really good. So yeah, I'm out here. I'm gonna basically go mob for a bit and get some videos of me kind of doing that, and then I'll try to put in some clips of where we were at. But yeah, it held up great through Black Bear Pass. I'm convinced this truck can go about anywhere on 33-inch tires and a little bit of a lift. It's not even lifted that high, I'll show you. It's just enough to barely clear the tires, and I do run into like some issues with scraping, and I've cut the fenders a bit, but I'm going to probably align the front wheels forward a bit just to kind of further avoid that rubbing. But because after those trails on those tight turnarounds where you're dropping down hard and it's really flexing and like, you know, pressing up there, it was definitely rubbing and kind of eating up the tire on some of those. And so I was out the other night and I blew up those tires, or at least one of them. So I got new tires on. I got some BF Goodrich KO3s that are used. They came off a Ranger Raptor, which they've been mobbed through the desert, so they're properly tested. And yeah, so hopefully they hold up. But that's what I'm on now. I'm out on these trails. I'm not airing down, and if I do air down, it's a big difference. But yeah, I'll show you a couple of these things. One other thing that we're working on is I built a bumper to try to do like a lightweight bolt together, like very high clearance front bumper. And I'm gonna do a rear one too, and I don't know if I'm gonna chop the bed at all for that, but I'll show you that bumper. The bumper's pretty sweet. It's very first try. It's not real production ready yet like these rails are. And I don't know if or where we're gonna sell the bumper through, but these rails will be up for sale under American Adventure Lab, which is pretty awesome because literally first try, couple hours, sit down with the boss, First try, first production, those are just solid and no changes needed. And it's a 4-inch rail, and that tent, I don't know if you can see right there, but the tent sits about flush with the top of the cab, so it's a pretty sweet setup. And this Roam tent is just awesome for camping. You just flip it right open and you go mob. And so yeah, watch and I will show you some of those things. So I don't know how stabilized this will be, so we'll see what we can do in post, because this camera has like 0 in body stabilization. But I'm going about 35 just on a dirt road, very blown out right now because it's adjusted for in this car. But it just handles great. Like before the suspension, I did not feel confident going even this fast over a lot of these dirt roads, just because it wouldn't handle the bumps. You just don't have traction and you're just sliding around the road, even going this slow. And like the tires I was on weren't, you know, horrible, and so it was really just that suspension, and which is a big reason why I upgraded. And so I figured might as well go bigger tires and just a nicer suspension setup, which this Icon setup is a very, you know, performance oriented setup. And the install, I did it myself with a friend, and my friend did it himself with me is a better way to put it. But I was there to help, and I did finish it off. But it was a few late nights to get it all done. And then, yeah, once I got out of the line, everything was just super smooth. I had some used tires on it, and so those tires led to a little bit of a vibration when I was driving, just because they were kind of old sun-rotted tires that just were not balanced well, and so I just had a vibration back and forth really bad, and I couldn't figure it out. And then I got these tires on yesterday, and it's already just perfectly smooth on the road, and so that's super cool. But yeah, I'm just cruising along. I'll show you what it looks like ahead. So I really want to go over, I don't know how this lighting is, but I really want to go over kind of my goals and, you know, kind of what I want out of this truck. I just want a truck that I can really go anywhere with, and maybe I can stay in the truck, not have to go pay for a hotel. I'm just paying for gas to go cool places. So I got a fridge in here. It's mounted to the back seat, kind of. It's just strapped in there, which it stays just fine. I don't see any real problem with that right now. It's not like I need that space. I will be hopefully putting a fridge slide in the truck bed, which will get that out of here and leave this more for some gear that I don't want to get wet or anything. But yeah, I'm just out here. There's a DNR pump right here. Don't pull me over, good sir. But yeah, no, so I have it hardwired to my battery, so it's just a Dometic wiring kit, and it's a Dometic CFX 35. I don't know if it's the 3 or what it is. It's just a fridge I'm borrowing from the shop. Same with this tent. Shout out to them. But it's so nice. You don't need a cooler. You don't need, you know, ice all the time. You just plug it in, and then if you're out wheeling every day, the battery's gonna be fine because you're recharging it while you're driving, and it does not use enough overnight to make it a problem. And so yeah, I'll pull up to a couple of these spots. I'm gonna go find kind of a cool spot to hop out and give a full rundown of the truck. But yeah, pretty much, yeah, no, it's awesome. I have loved it, and I've been wanting to make a video since I got a suspension, and I guess it works better now that I have a lot more miles on it. It's like about ready for an oil change since I got the suspension put on, and they recommend to lube the upper control arms every time you do an oil change, so I think it's about time, especially after this hard wheeling, to lube those. And so that'll be fun. I might make a quick video of that, just showing the process of how to do that, because it's super simple. But yeah. awesome scenery out here in Warner Valley. You're just out in the desert, really. Super smooth road right here. So I could kind of mob on this a little bit. But yeah, it's a manual 2013 Tacoma TRD, so it's got the like 4-wheel drive and a rear locking diff. That rear locker's already come in handy a few times. Out in Vernal, I was just doing some rock crawling, which this rig is not built for whatsoever. But it did good. It made it up everything. But here, I might pull off here and go take some quick videos and give a little rundown. Okay, I'm outside the truck now. Just to give a bit of a rundown. I'm hoping this is bright enough here. Here's the bumper we've been working on, which definitely pretty sweet in my opinion so far. Let's see if I can maybe brighten this up just a little bit. So, definitely dirty right now, but this is the first go at cutting and bending our own bumper. I was working on this with a buddy just kind of outside our shop, and yeah, super sweet. We've got definitely a couple things to clean up, but yeah, super sweet right now. Like I want to sturdy it up real good. There was a bend right here that we couldn't get done, and so yeah. But I got some lights in here. They're like the SS3s, I think, from Diode, and I got some amber fog lights. They're S8 lights, which those are super sweet. I just have them wired in with my brights, so they turn on then. But to show you this, so these are the wheels I got. They're called the Anza. They're 17-inch wheels from Icon. Super cool. I love the aluminum wheels. Well, they're like a powder coated aluminum on the white truck, especially with it matching. I don't know if you can see. Let's see if we can brighten it up. The billet upper control arms, which are just so sweet. Massive piece of aluminum cut into these control arms. And you do need to change the upper control arms if you want to run the suspension. And so you got to do something that you either got to do their tubular upper control arms or you do these billet ones. I just love the billet ones. They're more adjustable and they obviously look so much better. Installing this was fairly simple, especially if you know what you're doing. I didn't really run into any issues, and as you can see here, we've got it's so hard to tell whether I can actually see that on camera. But I've got the rear shocks with the reservoirs just to kind of, add some more shock fluid and keep it cool, the whole system. It's really for if you're doing some weight back here, which I did end up doing. But the one thing that I ran into with questions on... Let's hope that's on me. So the one thing that I ran into when doing the install was, besides this one thing, it was flawless. Just the instructions were like, for relocating the sway bar, there's a little sway bar block, and it basically just unclear. It says that it supplies bolts, and you have to use the factory bolts. And so I was confused. I threaded in some supplied bolts to the wrong spot when it was saying, no, you use these supplied bolts, when I actually used the factory bolts. I reached out and they, didn't really want to deal with it. They were kind of just like, I'm like, hey, I don't care. I just want to know what bolts I need so I can either go get them just so I can finish this install. And I'm like, okay, well, if it's not supplied bolts, then maybe note that in the instructions, and they didn't care to hear that. That was my one little thing with Icon that I was like, okay, because I work in the manufacturing business where you work with customers all day, and they give back valuable information, and I get it sometimes too busy, too chaotic to fix some of those things, but being at the consumer end of this, it's like it does make it harder. You don't know, you're trusting the people that make it, and they say one thing, you're going to listen to that. That's their instructions. It's a very expensive suspension kit that you expect to be able to follow, and it is what it is. But that was the one thing. Besides that, it's just like Icon's great. Been working. So yeah, these wheels, I love them. And so to go further around the truck, it is a manual, and so definitely not ideal in every off-road situation, which is why I was kind of saying it's definitely not a rock crawler truck. But yeah, no, these tires and these wheels, let me get a little backup. And I wish I could have a gimbal video for all this, but I don't have the mount that sets it so it's horizontal. So I'll make some shorts showing off the truck a little bit. But so on top of that, we made these bed rails, and I threw lights in. The lights are not wired yet. But this is what I was saying, is a first little go around. This is how good it was. I was mobbing through Colorado with these on there, with the tent on there. Haven't tightened anything down since then, and it is sturdy. Like, I was not nice to them. And how these are designed, so you can see right up in here. So these Tacomas, they come with a, let's see if I can get the lighting better. They come with a rail inside the truck bed. And that's how you attach some tonneau covers. It's just a little way to mount things, like these little knobs that are adjustable as little strapping points. Use those rails. So we used those little slots to mount this, and so it's kind of sitting, taking a lot of weight just right on top of the edge of the bed here, but then locked in with these nut plates right behind here. And so that's super cool because it makes these rails adjustable. Super easy, just some M8 bolts. If I want to adjust it, of course I can't adjust it much or at all with the tent on there. I could move it front and back as one, but let's say I don't have the tent on there and I want to throw something in my truck bed. Well, it's super easy to loosen those up and slide those rails all the way forward, pull them out if I need, and it's just awesome. I love them. It's a super low profile rail. So as you can see, that tent is just about maybe 2-3 inches, if that, below the top of my cab. And so I'm wondering if this tire is a little low. But yeah, I will try to get some kind of B-roll kind of showing off a couple of these things on here. But I did get 5 wheels. And so this wheel has the KO2 that I previously had on here. They were just used kind of sun rotted out tires. And these are what I blew up on Tokerville Falls Trail the other night. I destroyed a sidewall and one of the tires just got destroyed. I'll put on some pictures of that. But I had to run the original 31 inch spare down, and I didn't have a jack that would let me jack this truck up, because even the jack from factory, like, it's not tall enough to lift the truck up stock. And so you get any bit of a lift on there and you cannot reach the truck. So we had all other 3 tires of the front right one that blew. We had them all sitting on rocks, and then we jacked up the truck from the body in the front here, which we might have been able to do the lower control arm. I learned afterwards, but we put a stack of rocks right there and jacked it up just to get that front tire off, and then put the new one on. We had to dig a hole as well. And so definitely not ideal. I'll be buying a jack, but yeah, super cool. Super happy with this. To show off just what's in here. First, ARB digital deflator. Super handy for airing down. Makes it super quick. and it just reads out your pressure there. So I've got some of this stuff to clean up a bit, but as you can see here, I've got, you know, a ratchet set and this little speedy seal to kind of support the fridge here, and then a little cam buckle strap. And so super cool setup. Just let's get some light in here. Got the fridge that is hardwired back to this little Dometic hardwire kit, which took about 10-20 minutes to wire in from the battery here. And it might be worth showing what we did for the wiring here. And it wasn't me that was the brains behind this, and I don't know, you know, whose standard this is really up to. We did this in the middle of the night, just trying to get the bumper done before my trip to Colorado, and wanted to find a way to wire these lights up. And so we used a couple, I don't know if you can see it, a couple relays here. So wired in from the battery, and then they're wired together, and they're wired into my high beams. And so I'll show you. If I turn my key on, turn my high beams. So high beams are on. You can see those amber lights on, and along with my high beams. And so I don't have a way to turn them on without my high beams right now, which I'm gonna add something in to get that fixed. But super cool. I love these lights. Just lights up the whole road. All right, I am a sweaty boy out in this 91-degree weather in St. George, but I hope that gives a good little rundown of kind of the suspension setup and, you know, I guess my use and what it has done. And it has done great over some crazy trails up in Colorado. Not the most insane features, just a lot of hard pounding, a couple hard features, but it's also done good crawling up some rocks. And so, and it performs super well on the freeway. It was an 8-hour drive to Colorado and back, and that was on some bad tires. And so it's been doing great. I love it. If there's anything that you guys think I would have missed or you want information on, then let me know. And yeah, I'd be happy to help out where I can, I guess. But peace.